All right, guys, it is official. The WNBA expansion draft for its two newest teams, the Toronto Tempo and Portland Fire, is over. They have their rosters. We got to break this down. The Indiana Fever lost two players in this expansion draft. We got to get into it. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification to hype the video. That will be greatly appreciated. We have to get right into things. Basketball things finally taking place, and it all started here with the WNBA expansion draft. The Indiana Fever had to make decisions.
Stephanie White looked at the draft board and couldn't believe what had just happened. The plan was to build a team around Caitlin Clark with strong shooters, but that plan suddenly fell apart. One player they really needed was taken away. When Portland made their pick official, the whole room went silent. The player who worked best with Clark and understood her style was gone. This wasn't just a small change, it felt like a huge setback for the Fever's future, and it reportedly made White extremely frustrated behind the scenes.
But she still technically was a part of the Indiana Fever's roster going forward. Her rights have been taken. Okay, and we also lost the Red Bomber, Chloe Bibby, who we all became a fan of. We thought she fit in really well with the way Caitlin Clark plays, being that pick and pop four that could be a corner spot up shooter, could really space the floor. She dealt with injuries, as everyone pretty much did on this Indiana Fever team last season that was completely riddled and destroyed due to injury.
The WNBA expansion draft has changed everything in the league. For the Indiana Fever, it turned into a nightmare. The new teams, Toronto and Portland, didn't just take random players, they targeted key pieces. Indiana had to make very tough decisions about who to protect, and those decisions didn't work out. Now fans are realizing that the team Clark needs is slowly being broken apart. It's not just about losing players, but losing the chemistry that made the offense work so well together.
Tempo, and we are going to get into all of that, man. Look, Indiana Fever, this is done. Y'all got to make the right decisions now. The Toronto Tempo, they did select Marina Mabrey. They took her off of the market. Julie Alleman from the LA Sparks. Aaliyah Nye from the Las Vegas Aces. Obviously, they got Christy Wallace from the Indiana Fever. Okay, so they got some pieces, and we'll see how this team comes together. Obviously, they still have their draft pick as well. They got let me see, Lexi Held. She was
what was supposed to be a normal adjustment for the league has turned into a major problem for Stephanie White. The Fever lost two important players they were counting on. First, Toronto took the rights to Christy Wallace, who was seen as useful depth. But the biggest shock came when Portland picked Chloe B. That move was the one that really upset White during the draft and changed everything for the team's plans.
Guys, remember, I was quoted as saying, and I put in my video, that Bridget Carlton would be a good Kelsey Mitchell replacement if you were to lose her. Looks like that wouldn't be able to come to fruition, as she was the first pick in the draft. Bridget Carlton was the number one pick in the expansion draft. Okay, she's going to be a building block for them. I also love the addition of Sarah Ashley Barker from the Los Angeles Sparks. I thought they might protect her, but they got too much young talent. You got Kelsey Plum, you got Cameron Brink, you got Azarae Stevens, you got Rakia Jackson, you got a bunch of.
For Chloe B was very important for the Fever system. She was exactly the type of player who fits perfectly with Caitlin Clark. BB could shoot from outside, especially as a forward, which helps create space on the floor. That spacing is important for players like Aaliyah Boston to operate inside. Even though she dealt with injuries last season, BB showed enough potential to prove she was a key piece. Now, losing her has completely destroyed that vision.
You know, here it says, courtesy of Underdog WNBA, potential unrestricted free agents selected in the expansion draft. The Toronto Tempo took Marina Mabrey, okay? And the Fire took Bridget Carlton. These two players are unrestricted free agents, but I'm pretty sure that because they were picked so high, these teams are going to give them the most money that they can get outside of any other team. And that's just where it would be. Each team was allowed to select one potential free agent. All right. So that is what went down in the expansion draft. And now it's time, man. The expansion teams had a clear plan.
They targeted teams like Indiana that had strong star players but weaker depth. By taking BB and Wallace, they removed important flexibility from the Fever's roster. Now Stephanie White has to question whether she made the right choices when protecting players. The pressure is growing because the team is already being closely watched, and every mistake makes things worse for building around Clark.
The way they put the roster together, going and getting people who are talking about winning MVP like Natasha Howard and just stuff like that. It was ridiculous, man. Last season was absolutely ridiculous, and it cannot happen again. What happened last year cannot happen again under any circumstance. Under any circumstance can we deal with that again. That was ridiculous. DeWanna Bonner taking money, and a lot of this falls on Stephanie White because you went back and got people that you felt like you had relationships with, that you trust, and all of this stuff, and people that played for you before. And
there was also a missed opportunity that could have helped Indiana a lot. Bridget Carleton was the top pick in the expansion draft, and many people believe she would have been perfect for the Fever. She is a flexible wing player who could replace someone like Kelsey Mitchell if needed. Indiana had a chance to position themselves for her, but they didn't. Now she is a key player for Portland instead.
Just don't think that I don't think you did it right last offseason. And we got to get people in here that want to fit into the Caitlin Clark system and style of play. We need to get rid of let Natasha Howard go. Let Bree Turner go. Like, let them go on about their business. Let Sydney Colson go. Maybe she'll be an assistant coach or something. But as far as playing, let her go. Ari McDonald, let her go. She's always her. Odyssey Sims, let her go. Like, it's time to rebuild this thing up right. With the right pieces around Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. And there's a big decision.
Fever fans, this feels like the same problems happening again. Last offseason was already seen as a failure, and now the expansion draft has made things worse. The front office decisions are being questioned, especially how they are building the team. Stephanie White has said she wants players who fit the system, but the team keeps losing exactly those types of players. This gap between the plan and reality is becoming a serious issue for the team's progress.
Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, and there's a big decision to be made on Kelsey Mitchell. And I don't know what the Indiana Fever are going to do about it, but it's a big decision to be made on Kelsey Mitchell. And I think that they've got to figure that out. Let's take a look, man. Caitlin Clark had a clip where she sat down and talked about what it means to play in Indiana. Let's take a look at this clip real quick here.
I think growing up, I had a lot of really good coaches. Whether that was when I was really young, my dad was my first ever coach, and getting to see him not only as my dad, but
a big part of the current problems comes from how the roster was built last year. The team relied a lot on players they already knew instead of focusing on the best fit for modern basketball. For example, veterans like Natasha Howard were brought in, but the team's play often looked slow and didn't flow well. The league is becoming faster and more skill-based, and sticking with older styles instead of young shooters like Bibby has hurt the Fever. Another issue last season was the mindset of some players. Instead of focusing on team success, some were more focused on individual goals like MVP awards. That doesn't work when you have a player like Caitlin Clark who needs a team-first system with smart and unselfish players. The expansion draft could have been a chance to fix this, but instead, the team lost players who actually fit that style. Now, the Fever may need to make big changes. Players like Bray Turner and Lexi Hull are being reconsidered, but the main focus is on veterans who are not helping the team improve. There are calls to move on from players like Natasha Howard if they don't fit the future plan. The team needs to stop holding on to the past if they want to compete for a championship. There are also questions about leadership in the locker room. Sydney Colson is liked by fans and teammates, but her role on the court may not be as valuable anymore. Some believe she could become a coach instead. Every roster spot matters now, and the team needs players who can actually contribute on the court. Other players like Odyssey Sims and Ari McDonald have shown flashes of talent, but they haven't been consistent enough. In a league that is improving quickly, you can't afford to have players who don't perform regularly. The expansion draft showed that other teams value Indiana's young talent more than Indiana does, which reflects poorly on how the team is being managed. Looking at Portland, they made very smart choices. They picked players like Chloe B. and Sarah Ashley Barker, building a team with versatility and toughness. Barker, who was overlooked by her previous team, will likely play a big role now. Portland also picked up Namuli, even though she is injured, showing they're thinking about the future. This is very different from Indiana, which is losing ready-to-play talent. Toronto and Portland also made smart moves with free agents. They selected top players like Marina Maberry and Bridget Carleton, planning to offer them big contracts. This removes important options for Indiana in free agency. The Fever now have fewer choices to improve their team around Clark. One of the biggest questions now is about Kelsey Mitchell. She has been very important for the team, but her future is uncertain. The team must decide whether to keep her or move in a different direction. If they lose her as well, this situation could become very serious. Through all of this, Caitlin Clark remains calm and focused. She has spoken about her upbringing and how she values teamwork and balance in life. This helps her handle the pressure of being the face of the team. But even she needs the right support. If the front office keeps making mistakes, it will only make things harder for her and the team.